Tu vai morrer, ô seu lixo. Caralho. Seu merda. Eu quero experiência, porra. Eu quero ficar forte. Tá, vambora. Eu sei que eu tenho que ir pra siga o rastro de sangue no Pierce. Enche aí. Não sei o que eu enchi, não. Mas eu enchi alguma coisa. Siga o rastro de sangue no Pierce. Putz, a galera revive, né, viado? Eu tinha esquecido disso. Era pra cá que eu tinha que ir, né?
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Foi-se. Ah, entendi. Entendi. Então eu posso usar aqui esse caralho aqui. Posso meter logo a foice. Pô, mas aí minha... Não. Deixa pra lá. Tá fechado, né? Tá.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
Então, o rapaz fez uma baguncinha aqui.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
E aí, seu otário? Caralho! Otário! Toma uma mordidinha aí, seu lixo. Eita. Nossa, tem que recarregar as balas da pistola. Eu peguei uma porra de um tacape. Então, eu confrontei ele. E aí? Como é que recarrega essa merda? Eita porra, tá aqui o negócio. Pera aí. Peguei uns negócios, hein? É bom. Bom que eu pego uns negócios que eu não sei nem que eu peguei.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Eita porra.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by skull?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like
bar?
me?
Ah, é.
Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Filha da puta. Me conta alguma coisa aí, caralho. Não sei que caralho que tá acontecendo comigo, não. Ajudar o menino ali. Meu querido, tu foi mordido?
Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help.
Será?
Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I almost tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
Tá, protege o
Let's
menino.
come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Tá. E o que eu vou fazer com ele? Vou morder ele? Caralho. Tem vários caixotes aqui que não dropa nada, né?
This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Eita porra. Ah, deve precisar mesmo, que esse menino tá meio fudido aqui. Tá, agora eu vou entrar no barco. Entra, porra. É, a noite é só loucura, filho. Também tô com uma carinha de que já vi dias melhores, né?
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted.
Isso é bom.
And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea.
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stone, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it. I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Por que parou o barco?
You are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
Tá.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
É.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes.
Porra, maluco, tá preparado mesmo.
What do you say?
Tá. Esse menino tá.
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
É, tá. Eu levantei e andei pro final do barco. Pra quê?
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Ah, vou pegar a roupa. Entendi.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton.
Minha filha, tu não vai lavar essas mãos de sangue, não?
Of course, Doctor.
Caralho.
And Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes.
Coisa boa.
Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted.
Tá bom.
Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea,
Welcome
immediately.
aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
E agora eu vou pra onde? Ué. Ué, mas e aí? Analisar o sangue no menino no hospital. Tá, estado do distrito, saudável. Caralho, deu uma facada, velho.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Tu tá bem, Anjo?
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Por que tu matou o outro menino? F para informações. Qualidade do sangue, 500. Saudável. O que eu faço? Eu deixo esse maluco sangrar? Não é educado, filha da puta.
Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Filho educado.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Pera aí. Tá. Tá. Enfeticei.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Que loucura. É, eu também tô achando. Ou eu posso soltar o filho da puta, ou eu posso beber o sangue dele. Vai tomar no cu, meu irmão. Tu vai morrer, ô seu lixo. Caralho. Seu merda. Eu quero experiência, porra. Eu quero ficar forte.
Back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me.
Cala a boca.
Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Vai sim, vai me matar sim. Puta. Porra, comigo não tem essa não, meu irmão.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Esse babaca falando no meu ouvido também tá chatão, velho. Cara, eu peguei outra arma, velho. Meu irmão, não faço nem ideia de onde é que eu tô. Eu sei onde é que eu tô sim. Esconderijo ali, esconderijo ali. E eu tô aqui, top. Tô indo pro hospital. É, tá com cara de que é ali na frente, né? Tem mais alguma coisa aqui? Alguma caixa aqui pra gente abrir? Alguma coisa? Esse menino aqui também tá bem não. Ih, aquele menino ali também tá bem não. Peguei um vrido. Eu tô indo, anjo. Espera um pouquinho aí. A galera aqui não tá boa da vida das pernas não. Os pacientes esperam, minha filha. Os pacientes esperam. Os pacientes têm tempo. Os pacientes estão tranquilos. Os pacientes estão de boa. Não dá nada não. Eita. Fui pro lugar errado. Bem errado. Porque a porra do mapa ele é meio aberto, né, viado? Tô chegando, minha coroa. Cheguei, hein? Vamos pra onde?
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with
Querida,
these
lava essa
staff
mão
members, no
aí,
matter
minha
how
querida.
illustrious they may
Porra.
I apologize,
A porra da como é que a mulher vem falar com os outros, viado? Com a mão cheia de nojo.
This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
Mal educado.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Não sei se você
Thank you,
concordaria com isso aí depois se você
What can I
soubesse
do
que eu
for
fiz, não.
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you.
Tá.
Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
É... Tá saudável. Porra, qualidade do sangue. Porra, tem sangue pra caralho essa daí, filho. Tá maluco. Eu tenho que curar a fadiga do menino? Vai te tomar no teu cu, meu irmão. Caralho, tem umas galera que é pilar de não sei o que, meu irmão. Caralho, eu não entendo isso não, hein. Tem umas
I
perguntas.
would like to ask a few questions first.
O que
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
O maluco tá vivo?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Claro, o maluco acha que o sangue dele.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
É isso aí, é uma boa pergunta.
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
É, eu meio que sabia, né?
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
Né?
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Caralho.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Tá. Não adiantou de muita coisa não, mas...
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Tá.
Thank you,
Tá.
Nurse Crane.
Beleza. Agora ficou mais fácil de saber onde é que tá o bagulho. Tem uma coisa que eu posso roubar aqui? Tem. Top, eu só vou roubando coisa de otário. Eita porra, muita gente pra falar. Eu gosto de loot, hein? Eu gosto de loot, eu gosto de lutear. Tem a galera ali que ou tá sem rosto, ou é porque não renderizou. Fala com essa otária aqui. Ô, otária.
Good evening, nurse.
E aí?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brandon.
Falou rápido, hein?
Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Porra.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see.
Ah,
Well,
deve ter
I'm
feito
a
isso
little
antes.
surprised, but I suppose I'll just
Já
have
que ele
to
já
deal
viu
with
uns
this
negócios meu, né?
unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Pera aí. Porra, o bagulho de enfeitiçar dela é 5, viado. Caralho, essa mulher é braba, hein? Nossa. Não, vou enfeitiçar não.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard.
Eu sei.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Precisa mesmo.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
É. É a vida.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Não, não acho que seria não.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Pode falar, querida.
I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tibbins. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
É. Nova pista.
Nurse
Muito bom.
Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
É. Valeu. Porra, não tem pista nenhuma da mulher.
Goodbye, nurse.
Aí é foda.
Call me if you need assistance.
Eu não tenho pista nenhuma da mulher, meu irmão. Tinha uma porra de um cara aqui falando com ela. Porra, tem uma galeres ali. Pera aí. Eu tinha visto 2 coração aqui, hein. Ah, tem círculo social. E aí, meu consagrado? Boa
Good
noite.
evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Ah, safado! Porra, vamos negociar aí.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Aham. Caralho, o bicho dá dano, hein? Pô, ele tem vários bagulho, né? Eu posso vender essas merda, né? Não, mentira, tinha uns negócios que eu podia desmontar, né? É, porra, acho que eu não vendo esse bagulho não, eu posso desmontar, pô.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Pera aí. Não tenho pista nenhuma. Como é que tá por aqui?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
É, faz sentido.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation?
Tá ruim.
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
Tá foda, hein?
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
É, também não gostaria de ir lá não. Tem uma investigação aí, meia-noite na puta que pariu lá do jardim. Investigação, investigação.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Faz sentido. Errado ele não tá. Não tá errado.
Goodbye, Milton.
Dá nem pra ficar puto com ele, porque ele não tá errado. Opa, boa noite. Tudo bom?
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary.
Cara, a história desse jogo parece ser bem maneira.
Nothing but praise for you.
He was also very
Só é meio
confident about your future.
O jogo é meio
Look at you
travadinho.
now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
É, eu sou mesmo. Sou brabo. Eu tenho uma pista. Desse otário.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Não, ele tá bem, ele tá bem. Ele tá bem. Ué, mas cadê ele? Abracei esse otário aqui, hein? Por que ele não aparece? Ele tá aqui embaixo, né? Eu que tô cego mesmo. Como é que tá aí?
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
É.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Entendi.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tá.
Tell me more about cherished people then.
Nurse
positivo.
Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
Nova pista, hein? Que é essa vagabunda aqui. Top.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Entendi. Tá cansado, né?
Exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
You've nothing to prove, Dr. Tippett, to anybody. And we all praise your experience. Please, have some rest.
É, dá uma
I am
descansadinha.
perfectly fine, and I am not too old for this job.
Filho da puta.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
Deveria ter escutado outra.
We must keep
Não
on
escutar não.
healing all those poor
Deveria ter
souls.
usado
We are the
outra
last
opção de
rampart
diálogo lá.
before chaos.
Eu acho.
Once more unto the breach.
You've nothing to
Eu
prove.
usei a da
Dr.
esquerdinha aqui em
Tippett, to
cima. Eu
anybody.
acho que eu vou usar a da
And we all
direitola.
praise your experience. Please, have some rest.
I am
Ó.
perfectly fine, and I am not too old for this job.
Filho da puta. É,
Goodbye, Dr.
não gostou da resposta da pergunta que eu fiz, não. Entre no jardim do quintal.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Essa querida aqui não tá muito boa não, hein? Essa
Good evening,
querida
miss.
aqui.
I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital.
Só que tá parecendo um manicômio.
Who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Querida, eu acho que você tá loucona de pó pra caralho. Não deve ser vampira porra nenhuma.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying
Minha
veins.
querida, tu tá loucona,
I
viado.
need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying.
Faz sentido.
They are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say?
Opa.
Sad.
Top.
Immortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Querida, tu não sabe de nada.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here.
Essa porra é um manicômio, viado. Isso aqui não é hospital, não. Berto, boa noite.
My enemies. I
Bom,
can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
tu não vai fazer porra nenhuma, minha filha. Tu é louca, caralho. Tu tá comendo
Who are
merda.
these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Ah, é o cara. É o que ele me falou pra ir lá no jardim. Ele falou porque ele perdeu a carteira lá.
They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry.
Falou merda pra
These
caralho, minha
people will
filha.
not find you here.
Não é
I'll
vampira?
personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Caralho, filha, tu não faz a menor ideia.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Caralho, minha filha, tu tá muito doida da tua cabeça, na moral. Aí, na moralzinha mesmo. Caralho, tu não tá boa, não. Tu não tá legal.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Caralho. Ela é muito doida, hein? O que é isso aqui? A galera não tossir em público, hein? É isso aí, as enfermeiras estão salvando a galera, estão ajudando. Tem alguma coisa aqui que a gente possa roubar? Alho, estaca de madeira, só coisa boa, hein? E esse menino
Good
aqui?
evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No,
O que houve com a tua cara?
I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Tá, esse menino tá saudável. Eita, carinha! Tá bem, não. Não tá bem.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Eu acho que eu entendo.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
É, aí...
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Tá mesmo? Será que tá mesmo?
Where were you stationed? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No
Vai
offense.
te tomar no cu então.
I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
É.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
É.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Que loucura. É.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Caralho.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
É. Caralho, que loucura.
Goodbye for
Valeu,
now,
meu
Mr.
querido. Tamo junto. É nóis, hein?
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
Fechado
It's
essa
locked.
porta. Quem atua? Ah, é o menino.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps.
É, uma
But
bobeira.
who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
O que é o teu flock?
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Horcroft.
Então, mas aí...
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton.
Quase morreu.
Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Não era não, querido. Ele era um vampiro que nem era vampiro.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Despair?
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
É.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Cara, tu tá falando mal de gente pra caralho também.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation is always
Tá
been
ruim.
tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The wet boot boys aren't very
Botineiros.
near since they lost their leader.
Quem é o líder deles?
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show.
Eita, fui eu que matei o maluco. Fui eu que matei o Clay Cox, hein?
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
É, matei o maluco. Matei o maluco, hein?
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but
Tu é
notice the
padre?
cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Tu é padre?
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Esse maluco tá de sacanagem. É, porque
Why
tu não
did
usou a
you
cruz.
use your cross against William Bishop?
Funcionou comigo, ia funcionar com ele também.
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
É que tu não tá ligado, meu querido. Tu não tá ligado, a cruz funciona pra caralho.
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
Como é que tu não
You're in
morreu?
good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can
Porra, mas como é que tu não morreu se o cara tava chupando teu sangue, viado?
Goodbye,
Faz
Mr.
sentido não.
We'll talk again later.
Era pra esse babaca ter morrido, porra. Ué, olha os dois doidão. Eu já falei contigo, anjo? Não.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr.
Nome
Jonathan
merda.
Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Tá.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious.
Meu filho, tu não tem sobrancelha, não?
Wreaking havoc amongst the
Agora que eu me
staff
liguei.
and patients. We are
A menina não tem
running out of
sobrancelha, não,
everything.
viado.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Se é que vai acabar, né?
Nurse Hawkins,
gripe
the
espanhola.
Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
É, não tem como, né? Porque aí como é que os vampiros vão sobreviver se não tiver
How
sangue?
long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Você ficaria
You'd be
surpresa.
surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse
Filha da
Brennan.
puta. Tu acha que sem sobrancelha tem mais harmonia? Pô, mas é estranho, viado.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the
Estranhíssimo.
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserves
I don't
it
give
or
a
not.
damn about my bad reputation. Dun, 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 dun. Beleza, já
Why does
descobrimos que
Milton
nego não
dislike
gosta dele.
doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned.
É,
Milton is not the chatty type.
eu tô ligado, ele não é muito de trocar ideia, não. Tem porra de pergunta nenhuma. Tchau, querido.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Tá, descobri mais uma pista. Do otário ali. Pera aí. Tem uma galera meio fodida aqui, hein? I don't give a damn about my bad reputation. Da, 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 da. Tem alguma coisa aqui que a gente pode catar? Tem nada. Opa! Eu já falei contigo, né? Peraí, eu já falei contigo, porra.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Passou alguém atrás de mim aqui, hein? Tu não falei contigo ainda não, hein?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed
Cara,
us
mas
of
tu
your
viu
arrival,
sobrancelha
but I
ali,
could not
vulgo?
dare to believe we'd
Eu não
have
vi
such
não,
good
viado.
fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Thoreau
I'm a
Strickland.
great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Que bom. Fala aí, peraí, deixa eu dar uma olhada em você. A qualidade do sangue tá boa. Tá. Assim. Por mim. Eu só mato os idiotas na pista. Essa galera eu vou deixar vivinha. Não vou pegar a experiência deles, não. Mas assim, os outros idiotas que tiver na pista, eu vou matar todo mundo. Quero que se foda. Será um prazer, querido.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Será? Fala o que tu tem feito aí.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method.
Né? De repente o cara me dá uma pista boa.
Not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious.
Opa, ah lá, sabia que ia ter pista. Ah tá, ainda não tiveram sucesso, tá.
You may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
É, com certeza, né? Precisa ter.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Precisa saber sobre a porra da doença. Porque também toda desgraça é pouco, né? Tem uma puta na gripe espanhola e ainda tem vampiro. Foda.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work.
Quem é Milton?
We're not smiling now.
Caralho, quem é Milton? Não faço nem ideia de quem é Milton. Ah, eu posso rodar essa porra? Caralho, não fazia a menor ideia.
Well, yes, maybe.
Dá pra fazer brincadeiras aqui.
Yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well,
Quero olhar pra tua cara, não.
For I may pass by.
Vai tomar no cu, não quero olhar pra tua cara, não. Vai pro caralho. Opa, mais um investigation, hein. Investigation é bom.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Qual é a história... Peraí. Qual é a história dele?
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree.
But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
É. O menino tá puto, hein?
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Opa. Eu ainda nem achei esse filho da puta. Mas daqui a pouco eu acho ele. Tá, daqui a pouco eu acho ele.
Goodbye,
top.
Dr. Strickland.
Eu tava vindo pra cá mesmo. Pera aí. Essa mulher que eu já falei.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Opa. Rapaz, eu acho que eu cheguei no jardim sem querer. Ou não. Ou eu cheguei do lado de fora do bagulho também. Ué. Deu um rococó aqui. Pera aí que eu dei um rococó. É, tem um idiota pra falar lá na frente. Tem esse idiota pra falar aqui também.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see.
Qual é a tua condition?
Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Teu braço? O que houve teu braço?
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tá.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Isso faz uma diferença do
you
caralho.
satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
Tamo mesmo.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm
Tamo.
afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself,
Tamo pra
Dr. Reed?
caralho. Eita.
I have the feeling you're very capable.
Nossa.
And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
É, meu querido, não vou poder te ajudar não. Pera aí que eu... Tá.
Tell me
é.
about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Por que que... Pera aí, por que que a esposa dele morreu? A esposa dele morreu durante a guerra?
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Putz.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick.
Nossa, que
Unless
vacilo.
you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
É.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Putz.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea.
Ah, essa bomba caiu, filho, em
I
cima
just know
dela.
that I'm all that me kids have.
Não sentiu nada, filho.
Poor
Esquece.
little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Ellen didn't bring them with her that night.
É. É nóis, Vulgo. Tamo junto, querido. Eu também vou meter o pé daqui a pouquinho já. Só fazer mais alguma coisa aqui e vou fechar a live. Aí domingão nós tá aí, querido. Domingão a gente vai jogar aí com o moleque, vai ser mais animado. Com certeza. Valeu, meu querido. Tamo junto.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Tá. Aqui eu tô na rua, né? Eu não tô nem no... Opa. Eu não tô nem no... No caralho, né? Cara, eu não sei pra que eu destruo essas merdas, não dropa nada. Porra, não serve pra porra nenhuma esses caralho. Opa. Achei uma casa aqui, hein. E eu abro, hein. Ué. Filha da puta! Toma! Otário! Só tem isso aqui? Opa! É uns negócios bons. Opa! Achei uns negócios interessante. Cara, o meu negócio aqui nesse momento é aprender como é que eu troco os negócios rápido. Ah, tá aqui, pô. Nossa! Eu não ia pegar essa porra, ainda bem que eu vi. Porra, eu matar essa filha da puta. Porque ela é burra. Animal. Iam comer o teu cu, querida. Porra. Tua sorte que eu tô aqui. Idiota. Foda, né? Pera aí. Eita caralho. Eita caralho, o jogo crashou. Eita capeche. O jogo crashou. Galerinha, é isso. Valeu, o vídeo vai ficar por aqui. É nóis, valeu, valeu. E é isso aí, o jogo crashou e foda-se. E vou fechar a live. E é nóis, valeu e até semana que vem. Valeu.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there